Hey, yo, what's up? It's Joe back with a new video. So today is going to be a continuation of the AWS log script that I created. I think I did the last video probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So this is just a continuation of that video because in that video I left off at saying that I was going to go through the script line by line, which this is the script, 174 lines. And I did show you how the script works, and I also wanted to explain how the code works. So just to give you a refresher, what the AWS log script is just a script that I created to be able to get logs from the command line with AWS for like Cloudwatch events. So if I go AWS _logs, right? And right now I'm going to choose this as my group. So like fake data, my log group. And then I'm going to also be able to choose a stream from here. So the stream, I'm just going to say this right here. And then once I get this, it's going to bring me back all of my events. So these are my different events. And if you remember, or if you didn't watch the last video, I can forward through the events and go to the next set. I can also go backwards. And if I was to like show you, like go through it, how I did on my last video, you'll start seeing that like the times, like over here, they start changing depending on if you're going forward or backwards. There's a lot more different values, not values, but different parameters you can pass into the script to give you more information. But so what I want to do is kind of go through how the script works, just to show you everything that it does and also how all of the code works. So pretty much everything from here is just like some initial setup, and then everything else is literally just functions. And then I call the script on this main line, which is 174. So let's just start from the top. So the script directory is basically wherever you have the script located. So if you were to download the script to your local, I have it on GitHub, so if you were to like to download the script to your local directory or drive or whatever it is. And I have a README there, and then vars. So vars is pretty much like your settings. And this is how I keep track of the things you wanted to do on your last run. So that's how I can forward to the next group, forward to the next token. That's how I can remember if you chose fuzzy finder or if you chose deep menu. So all those different settings are saved in this vars file right here. And this gets overwritten every time you start the script. So again, with that being said, this is going to get that directory because depending on where you're running the script, or where the script is located, you want that vars to be inside that same directory. So this var location is just going to take that script directory, which is how it's getting this bash source directory name, and then add vars to it. So that's going to be the name of the file. And then right here, I'm just sourcing the file. If it's already there, I'm just pulling in all of the values. And if it's not there, I'm just sending out a null. Basically, that's outputting out, saying that I don't care about the errors and just throwing them away, basically. So this is my menu type, and I pretty much set the menu type to fuzzy finder. That's like the default. I normally use dmenu, but dmenu is a lot more work to get set up if you don't already have it set up. So some people may like to use fuzzy finder. So this is just going to default it to fuzzy finder. So then once it comes in here, it's going to look at all of this stuff right here. So these are all of my different settings that can be passed in, parameters. So you have a min time, you have a max time, menu type, stream prefix. Basically, when you're searching Cloudwatch events, if you want to have like a prefix of the stream, so if it's like 2023/03/22, you can pass in like 2023/03 and just get all of the streams for 2023 in March, depending on what your stream name is, of course. I also have a next stream token. So the tokens helps you pretty much page to the next page for streams, because you can also page with that. And if you pass a -n, I'm going to keep the log group name that you initially passed in. I also have a back. So this is going to allow you to go backwards for the actual events. So you can forward through events, and you can go backwards from events. So you can do both the same. You can do same way you can do it on the console. You can go forwards and backwards. And then you have your log group, and then you have your stream name. And if you pass in a -s, I'm going to keep the log group name So you kind of see that basically if you pass in that's S, I know the stream name. I know you want to keep the stream name, but if you're keeping the stream name, you also need to keep the log group name. Same for Ford. If you pass in Ford, I need to keep the group name and the stream name, and backwards the same for that. So now let's just go to main. So initially when it comes in, it's going to go ahead and say, okay, well, I'm going to create or update the vars file to a new file, pretty much overwrite it. So if you already have the vars file, I'm going to overwrite it. If you don't have the vars file, I'm going to create it. I'm going to change it to 750. I actually did a tutorial on basically how permissions work, doing it the numerical way. So 7 is just going to be read, write, and execute. 5 is going to be read and execute. And then 0 means you can't do anything. And then I'm just going to print F, basically print this first line here, because I want it to be a bin bash. And I'm just printing that first line there and print it to the var location. So all this is doing is creating this file or overwriting this file and just printing that line. All right. So next, I'm going to get the menu type. So export variable is just a function that I created. So if I go to export variable, I see I'm going to say a local var name and a local environment name, and then I'm going to call this. So in this case, my var name is going to be menu type, and my environment name is going to be menu type, all caps. So I'm going to do is use indirect variable expansion to set the environment var name to the value of the var name. So you see this line here is basically saying something like this. If I was going to say export, and then I want to say the value of menu type to the value of, to menu type. I'm doing it backwards actually. So it'd be basically saying like export menu type equals the value of menu type. So if I wanted to export that value, but this is doing it so I can do it as a function or do it in my function. And the way this works, this environment var name is going to be, of course, the menu type like you see here. And then the actual, this is called indirect variable expansion. So this is basically going to return me the value of the menu type, which is whatever that is set to. So var name is a variable, but I'm doing indirect expansion. So this turns it into whatever was passed in, and I'm getting the actual value of that. And then we're going to go ahead and do the var location. So the menu type is going to be set either here, it's going to default to fuzzy finder, or it's going to take in whatever menu type you pass in, and so you can change it from fuzzy finder or to the menu. So that's all that's happening there. So the export variable is just setting up the menu type, which if you look here, is just setting this. That's all that's happening right now. We're just setting this menu type. So now we're going to go to the set log name for both the log group name and the log stream name. So the log name is also a different function that has been created. So this is all here. So if I go to do this, and let's say all right, so just setting some markers. So if I go here, this set log name is going to pass in a log group name and then the name of the actual export type that I want. And then this is actually the name of the function, because I have a function called get log group by name, and I have a function called get log stream name. So if I go to my set log name, it's kind of doing something similar with the whole indirect expansion. So these are my variables: var name, environment name, and function name. So it's going to say if this is 0, basically saying if I don't have a var name, so if the log group name doesn't have a value, then I'm going to go ahead and eval and set my log group name to whatever my function returns. And in this case, the first one, the function is get log group name. So it's basically saying if I don't have a value here, well, not really here, but if I don't have a value, so if I don't have this value set for the log group name, and I only get this log group name if you pass -n, or you pass -b, or -f, or -g, or -s. So any one of these will get whatever log group name is set inside of here. So if I don't have a log group name, then I need to go ahead and get the log group name, or get the log group by name. So in that case, I'm going to go ahead and call my get log group name. And this is just calling the AWS logs describe log groups. So if you want to see what that does, AWS logs describe log groups. And this is actually just returning all of my different groups here. So what I'm going to do is actually go in and pull out some information. I'm going to pull out all of these log group names because this is what I want. So what's happening here is saying, okay, well, get the log group names, and I'm using JQ. Never heard of JQ? JQ is used for JSON. So it's a way to pull out values from JSON. So if I look here again, I'm going to go ahead and dig into this object, and I want to get the log groups property, which is right here. And then that log groups is an array. As you can see here, it's an array. And I want to pull out the log group name, which you see here. So, and then I pass that into create menu, and create menu is actually going to say, if the menu type is fuzzy finder, then just do fuzzy finder. So basically pass whatever results you have into fuzzy finder, else create dmenu. Pass the results into dmenu, which is just saying sort dmenu, getting a list of 30, and case insensitive. So now if I go back here, so I need to get the log group name. So that's how this works here. And if you want to see it a little bit more, I go JQ dash, so whatever I come back here. So I want to get the log groups and log group name. So I'm going to say dot log groups, and then that's going to be an array. So you can see what that looks like. Now I'm pretty much getting all of the objects in the array, and I just want to get log group name. So if I do that, and I say log group name, and then when I do that, it's actually going to pull me back all of the different log group names, and this is what happens when I run AWS logs, and I'm getting ready to get my log group names. These are all the different names. Same thing we saw there. And if I wanted to run it in the menu, I just say type dmenu. Now it's going to come from dmenu, but still pulling in the same results. That's how I have that create menu kind of decide which route we want to take or which menu we want to see. So since we have that out the way, this get log stream name is very similar. It still calls the same sec log name. And here, this part is the same thing because it's calling the same function, but instead of the function being the get log group by name, it's going to be get log stream name. And then get log stream name is going to do a different kind of command. So the get log stream name does more stuff. So it's going to say if you have a stream prefix, it's going to create this variable called extended. And this is just adding more information so we can have our AWS logs describe log streams with a longer command. So when you have a stream prefix, if you don't have a stream prefix, so this is 0. So basically, if this is empty, then we're going to say order by last event time. But if you do have a stream prefix, we're going to use a log stream name prefix and then pass in the stream prefix. Now, when you have a stream prefix, you cannot use order by last event time because it will actually not work. So that's why I have either or. So either order by last event time or use a log stream name prefix. And then if you happen to have a next stream token, Then I'm going to add some more and say, well, starting token equals next stream token. So if you have a next stream token, the starting token equals that. That helps with the paging because you need to know the token or where you're going to page. And then the actual command from AWS CLI is AWS logs describe log streams. I'm going to do descending. I just said max items 20. This could be whatever number you want. You can update that. And then we have the log group name that we're passing in. And then we're passing in the extended function, which is just going to be more stuff added on to the command if it happens to come in. And just so you can see what the log stream does, so if I do AWS logs describe log streams, it's going to ask me for a log stream name, group name, and right now I don't actually know the log group name, so just get one real quick. Let's say we're going to use this log group name here. So and then I'm going to say log group name, and we're just going to go put that. And see, this is our log streams. Of course, in this case, we don't really have any. We just have like one. But there's different ones. Like if I were to do the CI log fake data, it's going to be more log streams because it has more. So that's how I'm able to get the log streams. And then I'm pretty much saying echo the streams into JQ. So I'm going to select the next token. If the next token is not equal to null, then I'm going to get the next token. And I'm going to actually take that next token because whenever you're doing the log streams, at the end of this, it will give you a next token if one exists. In this case, it doesn't exist, but what I could do is say max items 2. So now I get a next token. So it's, as you can see, if you had a bunch of log streams, then you would get a next token, and this max items almost like the max number of items in your page. So you would need to know the next stream token or the next token if you got more results. So I'm able to page if you want to page. And if by some chance you have a next token, that gets stored. Well, it's not here now because I already started over. But this next stream token gets stored inside that variables file, which is a vars, and then that can be used on your next go around if you want to pass in the -n to use that next stream token, and it'll just page for you. Because again, the -n is saying, okay, use the next stream token and use the log group name. And if I were to go back to the get log stream, and then the next one, I'm saying, okay, well, echo streams. And now I'm actually going to take those streams and pipe them into the menu. So now I'm going to say, if you want to see it again, I can just say, so these streams, and I'm going to go ahead and get the log streams, which you see here. And then I'm going to pipe that still inside of JQ. And I'm going to say, okay, well, the log stream name is going to pretty much be one value. And then the next value is going to be the last event timestamp, but I'm going to divide by 1,000 because it's in milliseconds. And then I'm going to say to date ISO 8601 and just going to make it a human readable form. So if I were to run the script and do AWS logs, and let's go ahead and pick fake data. And let's just pick a stream. Well, actually, before I even pick the stream, I'm actually going to do it in Fuzzy Finder because I feel like it's easier to see. So if I do fake data, now here, this is what you see here. So you see the log stream name. That's the log stream name. And then this is the human readable date, which is coming from here. So now I can actually see the date. So that is that part. So if I go back to the get log stream, Well, actually, let me just go back to set log name, because also in here, if we can't set a value, we're just going to exit the script because we don't have a name. And so something must have went wrong. And if we can, we're going to go ahead and set the variable with the export variable, which is of our name, environment name, which goes back to this vars file here. And so now we're at this part. So the log stream name, the actual log stream name is this. But when you do it from the console, you go to AWS from the console, you still see a date. So I didn't want to just have this name printed. I still want to have a date. So that's why I have combined two. When you look at the log stream, when you look at this part right here, that's why I have the log stream name and then the date. But again, the actual log stream name is just this first one. And so what I do is I say, okay, well, I really want to get the actual log stream name and set that to the variable of log stream name. So I use awk. And with awk, you can just print the first, it's separated by spaces. So this is like my first column. So I'm printing that first column. And then I'm just passing in the log stream name and then overwriting it by setting it to a new log stream name, which is just the first column. And then I have the events. So the actual events, I want to get the log events. So this is pretty much the last main thing that happens. So in the get log events, you have a min time, you have a max time. If you have a min time and a max time, you can kind of, make it basically filter out your results. So just to show you here, like if I went to, right now I'm on fake data, if I do 314, and I say we have a timestamp of 2023 at March 13th at 6 o'clock. When you're passing in the date and time, you do pass it in as your local time, but once it gets up to AWS, it returns back in the UTC time. So I just need to calculate what my local time is before this shows UTC time, but my local time is what I need to pass in. So AWS logs, go to fake data, and then do March 14th, which is actually going to be showing some stuff from March 13th. And so now I'm going to say keep that stream. So the dash S means keep that same stream, and then do March 13th at 2 o'clock for the min time. So now if I do that, min time March 13th, 6 o'clock, maybe I have to do 10, maybe it's 4 hours ahead. Forgot how this, okay, that was different. So let's see. So this is 2 o'clock. So yeah, so I think it was right before, so 4 hours behind. So maybe I need to do something like 2:10, calculating for the thing. Okay, so there we go. So this is 6:10, that's the min time. So say if I want to do like the max time. Say if I want to do the max time of 6:12, so I can just say put a 2 here. And I'm still keeping the same stream, that's why I'm passing the dash S, so I don't have to go through all of that stuff to get back. So now if I see here, min time is 2:10, and the max time is going to be 2023, 2313, and we're going to say 212 for the max. So if we go here, we stop. See, 6:10 and then 6:11. It didn't go anything up to 6:12. So that is how the min and max time works. It's just going to go ahead and do an extended and then pass in the start time and an end time. And just have the values of the min time and the max time, whatever you pass in. And also, when you first set in the min time, it's actually going to take that date and then parse it out to epoch time, because it needs to be epoch. So this is what it's doing, taking it and putting it into epoch time and put it into milliseconds, that 3N. So if I go back, get events, what is it called? I forgot the name of the function, get log events. So now we have the next forward and next backwards token. So if it is non-zero, then that means that we want to go ahead and pass in the next token for the for, or pass in the next token for the backwards. I kind of have it, probably should make this better, because I kind of have it happening, like if it's set here, it probably shouldn't run this. But if it does run, it's just going to overwrite it anyway. So it uses the same next token, but I could make this script better to not run this line if it doesn't need to. But basically the next forward token and the next backwards token. So if I go here and I say, let's take out the, oops, let me do that. I hope I didn't exit out. All right, there we go. So let's take out all of this stuff. And let's just do a min time. So if I do a min time here, and I see the last time we have is 8:39 on March 13th, and the top time is 6:10. So now let's go ahead and remove this, and let's remove the S, and let's just say 4. So now you see we had stopped in around like 8:39, but now it's 8:40. And if I go to the bottom, it's 11:04. If I do the same thing, I'm going forward, it's going to be 11:05 for the starting time, and then 1:29 for the ending time. And if I can do the same thing and go backwards, and then it's going to update it, because now we're going backwards in the page. Now we have 9:05 and then 11:04 for the end time. So, and even if I were to look at my VARs file, I have my tokens. I have my next forward token and my next backwards token. So that's how I'm able to go forward and backwards through the paging. So if you look here, the next forward token is saying if there's a next forward token, then go ahead and set the next token to that. I'll set the back token to that. Or if there's a backwards token, set it to that. And the actual script is AWS logs, get log events. You have your log group name, you have your log stream name, and then start from head. And then you have your extended, which is going to be just the extra stuff, start time, the end time, and then the next token, if it even has a value, is going to be the next token stuff. So just to see how that would work, if I were to do, let's see, let's get a log event. So we're going to do CLI log fake data, and we're going to do the stream as 2023-03-14. 2023-03-14. So let's say AWS logs, get log events, log group name. We're going to say CLI log fake data. And I forgot it already. Log stream name. We're going to say 2023-03-13. I think that's what it was. And if we do start from head, and we're not going to do any extended or token. And it, what did I do wrong? Oh, it's not. We need to do the dash here. This all log stream does not exist. Maybe I did the wrong log stream. So let's see what it's called. So AWS logs. I want to show you how to do it, just how it works just from running the actual command. So it's 2023-03-14. There's no slashes. So that was my problem. So let's just take out these slashes. And I think it was actually 14. So this is what the actual log events looks like when you get it. So what I did, and if I go to the bottom here, I have my next forward token and my next backwards token that I end up saving so I can do backwards and forwards. But what I did was I get down here, right? And I'm going to say, okay, well, echo events. I'm going to use JQ again to parse the JSON. I'm going to say I want to get the next forward token, which is why I have the dot. If it's not equal to null, take the next forward token and then pipe that into XArgs and pretty much just export that next forward token to the var location. And then whatever the token is, this is setting a value, like a variable in XArgs. Token equals token, which is coming from this token that was found. And I do the same thing for the next backwards token, basically setting the next backwards token. So basically I can get those values that were there, but I lost them because I reran the script and I didn't save. I didn't get to the forward and backwards part. And then I just echo the events to get the log events. And then in the actual get log events, I set events to whatever is echoing from the get log events. And then here I'm actually printing the log events with the message and a human readable timestamp, and then piping it into less. So here's the last part, just echo events, and then it echoes these events, and then get the events. These are all my different events. And then the only thing I'm pulling out is the timestamp, which as you can see here. And let me just go back to get log events again. So again, the events is going to be everything that you see here, right? Because this is the actual real command without me doing any extra stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get the events. So if I go here, these are my events. And this events has a timestamp, message, and ingestion time, just an array of objects of those. And then I'm going to pull out the timestamp. So a timestamp is going to be the human readable timestamp, which is what you see here. Divided by 1000, then passing it to the 2-day ISO 8601 function. And then the next thing I'm going to do is get the message, and I'm going to keep my color output, pass it to less, and then new case insensitive. So when all that is said and done, when I run my actual script, and I go AWS logs, and so fake data again, and then I'm now at my streams, and then I'm at my events, it's going to put out the timestamp in human readable form. Again, this is going to be returned in UTC time. And then I also have my message, which is the message that comes from the message property. So that is pretty much it. That took way longer than I expected. I'm going to try to see can I cut this video down some. But that is pretty much going through line by line how I created the script. And yeah, if you see anything that's interesting or see anything I probably could have done better, please let me know, because I'm still, I'm not a master at writing Bash. I still learn new stuff all the time. But it was pretty fun creating the script, because now I don't have to go to the console. I can just do everything from the command line. And maybe in some cases I may need to go through the console, but for a lot of quick things I need where I can see the full list or see the different logs really quickly, I can just do it from the command line by using the script. So again, thank you for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe, only if you are liking and subscribing. And also comment if you have any questions. And don't forget to, like if you actually like it. All right, on that note, peace out.